Hello, all my aliens, and welcome to the call center of the end of the universe. I am your host, the CS Guy, and this is the Water Cooler Review, Season 1, Episode 7. Good night, Oppy. This was recently released on Amazon Prime, and good morning, Oppy. It's time to wake up. This was recently released on Amazon Prime not that long ago, and it actually tells the story of the two Mars rovers, Opportunity and Spirit, and their adventures on Mars. And um, I've done this review a few times already and trying to get this down. And this movie is so good. And I felt so emotional about it that each time, even with trimming it down, it was like 15, 18 minutes long. And I don't want to do that to you with that long a review. I'm going to do maybe this one a little bit different. Like I said, this movie tells the story of Spirit and Opportunity, the two Mars rovers that we launched back in 2003 to answer the question: did drinkable water once existed on Mars? Because pretty much anytime we found water, we have found life at. This stemmed from back in 1973 during the Viking satellite probe, not satellite probe that went around Mars. Based on the images that came back, it showed like possible riverbeds, like at one time water may have existed. One of the lead scientists on this project was a space geologist, had tried NASA for many years trying to get them to do something. NASA always kept on with no. He starts working at JPL, out of Pasadena, California, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, kind of coming with the rovers, trying to see this, and then all of a sudden NASA's like, hey, we're going to let you do this, but you have 23 months to get these ready and launch them, just because the launch windows from Mars are so short. They pretty much talk about the whole movie, they refer to as this is more just wires and metal. That these were their children. They made you feel for this. After watching this movie, you're going to have a really hard time of looking as this these were just robots. You start to feel them as children, and it's kind of that metaphor in life to where, you try to raise, you try to raise your kid right. You try to make sure they have all the tools to succeed, because sooner or later you're going to have to send them off on the way, and you hope that they make you proud, but you also don't know if they're going to be able to. It's up to them, and they tell this story really, really well. During this time frame, they basically were only going to last for 90 days because of the dust storms and the solar panels on them. They were going to get dirty, so after 90 days they were just going to run out of energy. So they had worked, imagine working in 2 years on something that's only going to last 90 days. And so they launch beginning in January 2003. They launched three months apart. Spirit has a little bit of issues, but ends up coming to life. And 3 weeks later, Opportunity lands. With Opportunity, imagine hitting a 300 million mile hole in one, and just the odds of that. And on top of that, not only you hit that hole in one, you're like, hey, do you think you can also hit water? And they did that with Oppy. Basically, they had this crater that they wanted to shoot for and land, but, the chances of that happening are astronomical. And they hit the hole in one. Basically, she lands in the middle of this crater, right where they want to go. And right at her feet, lo and behold, there's hematite. Hematite is something that shows that, hey, water used to exist there, but the water was very acidic. But hey, it's a start. So they kind of go throughout. Spirit, about 30 days in, she comes up to this rock, by Victoria. She comes up by this rock. She hits it. She goes dark for 2 months. They were just about to pull the plug on her. Um, Basically, they're like, "Yeah, you had a good run," and at that moment, right before you're about to pull the plug, comes to life. And goes on. Spirit will end up going on for about 5 years before she basically reaches her time. Opportunity will last for 14 and a half years. At one point, they end up Spirit ends up getting to Endeavor Crater. This was new terrain that they hadn't seen. There was a breath of fresh air. And lo and behold, in the middle of Endeavor Crater, oppor- Opportunity finds basically clay. And not only with the clay, it showed drinkable water, and they run more tests. At one time, Mars was a very, very wet world. Definitely was water and could sustain life. Kind of get there towards the end. We're about 14. You're about 14 and a half days in. Um, at about five on day 5,000, the group of engineers like, hey, let's take a selfie, and they get to take a selfie. There was a comment that like, oh, good taxpayer dollars, hard at work. You lasted 4,940 days past. You can take a selfie. 5,111 days in, a really bad dust storm hits Mars, a one that they have not seen before. Um, Oppy goes dark. This dust storm lasts for 6 months. And from the last contact to Oppy, they were hoping Oppy would wake up. And kind of like in life, we're always hoping to hear from Opportunity. Sometimes we hear it. Sometimes there's just silence. And it'd been 5,352 days since Oppy had got her hole in one. And she doesn't wake up, guys. And NASA sends a message, and they tell Oppy, well done, Oppy, well done. Indeed, directors, well done. Very well done. Guys, you got to go out and watch this. This is something very enjoyable. I am definitely giving this an 8.3 out of 10. You're going to enjoy this. They make you feel like it's more just wires and metal. At one point, Oppy kind of gets amnesia. They have to convince Oppy every day that she's a robot. And one of the people working on Oppy has a grandmother going through Alzheimer's, and she could relate. And she had to convince her grandmother every morning, hey, grandmother, you're a robot. It's really good. It's a tearjerker. The scenes are great. They use actual footage from Opportunity and Spirit, as well as they use stuff from the Hubble Space Telescope. It's amazing. I love space, guys. Go out and watch this. You're going to highly enjoy. So thank you for watching this episode of the Water Cooler Review. Make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe so you get the new videos, and also put the comment on there. Guys, this all helps me in analytics. If you don't like my review and you think I should have rated this higher or lower, definitely drop me a comment. I'm eager to read that. But my therapist once said, if you gotta go, go with a smile.